Hello, this is Crystal with Stitching in the Green Mountains. Welcome to my Flosstube channel. It's where I talk about cross stitch and knitting and quilting and sewing, any other of my crafty projects. I try to focus on cross stitch, but then I'll share at the end some of my other creative activities. I have not filmed in about 2 months. I think it was late February when I last filmed. We have just had a very, very busy spring. My husband and I have a small business, which is we make maple syrup, and that starts in March and it usually goes into April. So that takes a lot of time, and it's just a really, really busy time of year. So we were busy with that, and then my 2 younger sons and my husband all ended up getting COVID. I did not, thankfully. I never got it. Kept testing and testing, but no, I was lucky. So we went through that. That was the later part of April. So that's all good. Everybody's back to normal. My middle son left for school a couple of weeks ago. He is going to the Linesman Institute of the Northeast. It's in southern New York. So he's been spending his weeks down there, and then he has been coming home on the weekends. So that's been a little bit of a change. Yeah, so my youngest son is getting ready. His prom tomorrow, his junior prom. So he and his girlfriend are pretty excited about that. And last weekend was Mother's Day, so it was nice. I got to have all my boys are home, so I got to see them. And then this weekend it's my birthday, so I'm taking an extra day off from work and enjoying the beautiful weather that we are having. I think last time I filmed it was snowing. As you can see, the sun is shining. I've got clothes hung out there on the clothesline. It's gorgeous. It's actually kind of hot. Probably as I'm filming, my hair will get bigger and bigger with the humidity. So let's just jump into what I've been working on. I think I'll start with kind of what my monthly focus projects. And if I have shared this with you in the past, so each month, I don't do WIPGO, but each month I do have a focus project, and that is determined by this list I created before the beginning of the year. And I just wrote it, on a piece of paper. So I have 3 to 18, and then I just kind of either designated a project or a type of project that I wanted to work on and specified how many hours or how many days. And it starts at 3 because I have 3 dice, and you'll never get a 1 and a 2 with 3 dice. So it starts at 3. And for March, let's see, it was number 12. So that was the project Use It Up or Wear It Out. And that says use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. And that is my oldest WIP. I haven't finished it because I don't like the fabric. It's really stiff. And it's not comfortable in my hands, but I do want it done. So I spent 4 days working on that. I'm at the end of the project, and there are some specialty stitches, 3/4 stitches and some satin stitches. And the fabric that the shop owner where I purchased it years ago, she selected the fabric for me, and she gave me an Aida fabric. I don't think she realized that there were specialty stitches. And so now I'm at the end. I'm trying to work on those, and that's not that pleasant. So I did spend some time on it. I think I am going to kind of finish up the section that I'm on and then call it good enough and be done with it. I love the phrase, I love the saying, and I've got, most of the kind of the flowers, the kind of embellishments, most of them are done. So I think it's good. I'm just gonna say it's good enough and call it done. So that was my March focus project, and April's focus project, I would show it to you, but For some reason I can't find it this morning. I don't know what I did with it. It seems to be hiding. So I'm sorry, I can't show it to you today. For April, the beginning of April, I rolled a 14, and that is 6 hours on a project with a bird. So that's kind of vague and gives me some options with my current whips. So what I did was I pulled out a Teresa Kogut's pattern, Teresa Kogut, Creative Whims, and it's the Newcastle Bouquet. This one here. I started working on this one last year in May as my birthday start. And I am stitching it on the 40 count called for fabric, linen. And so it was tricky. I hadn't worked on 40 count in the past, so it was kind of slow going. Try to get this so you can see it better. Fold it in half here. There we go. But I'm getting used to working on it, and it's getting a little faster. So, I mean, it's been a year, but that's where I'm at. So in my time on April when I worked on it, I added, let's see if I can show, I added the flower, this flower here, the leaves, outlined the other leaf. I did the first flower petal over here. I filled in this leaf, and I finished the Q, and I put in the T and the U, and then I've added more on this border flower, and then more of the kind of the stems on that border piece. So it is coming along nicely. I'm really excited to work on the center of this project. I just think the bird is beautiful. There's a giant basket at the bottom, so that will be fun to work on. So that is where I'm at. It's a 40 count called for linen, and I am drawing a blank on what the called for fabric is. Maybe I can see it real quick. I'm using all the called for floss, which is a combination of DMC, Weeks Dye Works, and Classic Color Works. Oh, it wasn't that page. Yeah, I'm not finding it really quickly, but yeah, it's a gorgeous piece. So this one obviously will take me multiple years, and it has been 1 year so far. And that was my first focus project in the month of April. The month of May, I rolled an 8, and what was the 8? Oh yes, it was my piece called A Home Is, and yes, it's in this bag here. I made this bag last summer as well. Find the cover photo for you. I printed this one on my computer, so I know the cover photo is not very good. Yeah, here we go. So a house is, right, and this is by Stitches Through the Years. I don't know if the logo will show very well. Stitches Through the Years. So it's not a large piece, it's 129 by 129, so it is square. And this is also on a 40 count fabric. So again, it was kind of a slow piece for me to start with, but it is moving along. I think this is the top. That's square so far, I guess it doesn't matter, but yeah, so what I did is so far this month, I have completed the border, because that was only, I think I had 2 sides, started here, went across the top, and I had come down, and I think I was like just in maybe here. So I've finished that, and I put in the first little stem and leaves on one of the flowers here in the corner. And I had another, I think I had another one in, but then I had to tear it out because I was off. My counting was off when I got done. So yeah, so that's where I am at so far this month, but I think I still do have more time to put into it. So I have like one day each week scheduled to pull this out and work on it. So that is really, I think that it's simple, it's beautiful. It's got that big house, and the tree and flower pot. I just like that big flower pot. This big house. And then these I think are like little strawberries. Flowers, I'm not quite sure. We'll have to see, as maybe it's strawberries and flowers. We'll have to see as we get working on this. This is done in DMC. So not too many colors. Like these here. See if I can show. Yeah, so not a huge selection of colors, but I think they're really pretty. So that is a house is, and that's kind of my focus project here for May. Where it's fallen out of my hair. Sorry, take that out. I wasn't gonna do Whipco this year because I have a lot of projects and I wanted to be able to finish more projects. So far I'm not finishing things, but I am focusing on them. So things are getting progress and that is good. So let's see. So that was my May focus. I'm gonna back up a little bit here. I did allow myself a new start in March, and that was a planned start. So it was for St. Patrick's Day. And this is called an Irish prayer. And I think I did share in my last video that I was gonna work on this or start it. And so I just think this is just a humorous. And this is by Linda D. McNally, Homespun Sampler. So there's Homespun Sampler and the designer down here. It's an Irish prayer is the name. And it says, "May those who love you, and those who don't, may God turn their heart. And if he cannot turn their heart, may he turn their ankles so you will know them by their limp." I just think it's funny. My husband has Irish heritage, and I think he will appreciate the humor of this. So so I did start that on St. Patrick's Day and kind of worked on that in the evenings in March. So here's where I'm at. I was working on the border. So I got across the top, down the side. I haven't quite finished the top width of it, but I did come down the side. And this is actually really enjoyable. I wasn't sure how I would like to do this border, but I really enjoyed it. So each afternoon I'd get done work and I would just take, 15 or 20 minutes and I would put in one of these little, I don't know, what do you call them? Like crescent shape designs. Sometimes I'd put in two, but that I really liked. And I do not know what this fabric is. I pulled this out of my stash and it did not have the label on it. And it is a Zweigart. It has that orange stripe here in the border and the edging. But I don't know the color, and I'm thinking this is a 32 count, but I'm not entirely positive. So that has been a really fun start. Again, this one doesn't call for a lot of floss, and I am using a DMC for it. And I don't think, yeah, I didn't have this one set aside in a bag. So that was my start back in March. I did a start in April. Do I have it right here? Yes. I do. I just didn't see it where I thought it was. So this is My Token of Love. I know a number of people have been working on this one. I've seen others do it. Kayla Gray completed this one as an anniversary gift for her husband. It was gorgeous. So I kind of followed her lead on that and talked to her about fabric count. So this one calls for a 28 count fabric with 2 strands of floss, and I actually think I'm using a 36 count fabric, and this is Weigart 36 count ivory Edinburgh linen. And so I started this one in April, and here's where I'm at. This one is a lot of fun to work on, so I just kind of focus on each of these little motifs. Yeah, it's just gorgeous. I really like it. I am using a DMC floss on this, so this is DMC 115. You see it's kind of a little mess here on the skein, but it's got gorgeous variegation. Yeah, so this one is enjoyable, and I'll keep plugging away at this one. I'll keep this one out and keep working on it. Probably I'll put a little bit of time into it every week. So that was my start in April. And it brings us to May, and May has May Mania. And I wasn't going to do any new starts in May other than my planned birthday start. But late in April, I decided to do a little shopping, and I purchased some charts and books and floss. So I did. I decided if I meet my goals during the week, 5 days on a specific project, then I can do the new start on the weekend. So last weekend, the first weekend in May, I picked a Blackbird design because, you know, the first weekend of each month is Blackbird, BBD, Blackbird Design Weekend. So I picked a new start there. And it's in my pile here somewhere, so I will have to find that and share that with you. Do I have it? No, actually it's right here in this bag. This one I made recently. I think I showed it last time. I will jump into my little bit of haul. I purchased The Winds of Autumn by Blackbird Design. This book has so many gorgeous charts. And I started Mighty Oak right here. So that's a picture. Let's see if I can find the picture. It's a Mighty Oak. And I know other people have been stitching on this one too, so it is just beautiful. And I opted to use DMC, just to keep it economical. I did have some of the variegated floss, the Weeks Dye Works, but since I didn't have the majority of them, I decided to just convert everything. Well, I used the DMC conversion. I didn't convert it. I followed the Blackbird Design conversion. So I started that last weekend, which was the first weekend of May, and oh yeah, since I have multiple projects in this bag, I'm just keeping my floss on in a little baggie, not fancy, but keeps them together so they don't get mixed up with other projects. And here's where I'm at. Yeah, so that's what I did last weekend. So I started the top border, and then I started that little inner border. Yeah, I just think that's a gorgeous, gorgeous pattern. I love it. This linen is something I had, and do I know what it is? No. Again, it was in my stash without a tag, so I don't know. I don't know. It's a mystery linen. I think it's a higher count than what the book calls for. What does the book call for? It calls for 36 count. So I'm doing this with one strand of floss, so this must be a 36. It's not a 40. I'm sure it's not a 40. Yeah, it could be 36. So measurements should be about right then. Yeah. So Blackbird Design, Mighty Oak, and that was my May start for the first weekend in May. So that was the 7th and 8th, I think. No, 6th and 7th? 6th and 7th. So I started that on the 6th. And I also have, I want to start, I don't know exactly when I'm going to start this, but I saw this chart in the Blackbird Design book and I really liked it. And it made me think of my niece. So this one here, and this is called Spell of the Moon. And I think it's just 3 colors. Yeah, it's just 3. But I'm not gonna go with, it's a Classic Colorworks, Gentle Arts, and a Weeks Dye Works, and I'm not gonna use those. I used the DMC conversion for it, and for the moon, because it's not a variegated floss, I picked 2 different yellows, and we'll hold them together. So I haven't decided on the fabric for this one, but I was thinking of my niece, and she is 12. Her birthday is in October, and she was here with me last fall one day after school, and I was cross-stitching, and she asked me if she could try it. And so I had a chart and a simple small chart, fabric and floss, all kitted up, and I gave it to her it's a mousse, and I gave it to her to do. So my sister has been working on that with her. I also got her for her birthday last year, a little polar bear. Polar bears are her favorite, and so I got her a polar bear kit. It's a real simple, small one. But I thought I would make this one for her birthday in October. And I think she'll appreciate that. She always asks me when she was little if I made anything for her. She's just funny like that. So she'll be 13 in October, and I thought she'd like it. So that's on my short list to make. So I'm not sure when I'll start it, but that one I will add to my list. And yeah, that was everything in this bag. What else? Oh, every morning, I should have started this one. Every day, I've been keeping this in my kind of my winter stitch bag. I have been working on a Prairie Schooler. This was my stitch along with my sister. Santa's House. Prairie Schooler 2010 limited edition. We were working on this one together. We think we started in November last year. I'd have to look back at my notes to see for sure. But she had a hard time finding the fabric. We both bought this I think a Jobelin even weave. And she didn't like working on it. So she likes Ada. So she had a hard time finding, she kept trying different fabrics, and then she finally went with her Ada that she likes the best. So we got to finally start it. I think it was November, but this is where I'm at. So each morning I'm just putting in 1 strand of floss. So my husband gets up, I think I've shared in the past, he gets up and leaves early in the morning. And so when he leaves, I grab my coffee and I just put in 1 strand of floss, and it has made a lot of progress. I think I had a window that wasn't done. I don't think I had these, green sprays on the side. I know I didn't have the flower in on one of the sides. These were not in. The 20 was not outlined. I don't even think I had a hat in here, and the beard, of course, wasn't there. And this deer, I started this one early this week. So I have put in a lot of progress on this over the last probably I don't even know if it's been 4 weeks, but at least 3 weeks. And I just do one strand of floss each morning, and it's coming along. I don't know if my sister's making progress or not. I have been sending her pictures, trying to keep her motivated a little bit, but she said she thought she might be able to stitch last weekend. I don't know if she did or not. So that is Santa's house, and that's been my morning stitch. So since it's so close to being done here in the next week or 2 weeks, probably 2 weeks, I have to decide on what my morning stitch will be. So I'll have to make up my mind there. I have so much to cover since I haven't shared anything with you in 2 months. My other focus stitch, and I think this is not quite my last one, second to last one. This week, was it this week? This week, my focus has been, put this on the right side here, Quaker handwork. And I started, this was my New Year, New Start. I did this with Christine from Mountain Craft Studio. She's completed hers, gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. And then Kayla Gray started it as well, and she has also completed hers. So I am slacking. So this is my focus this week. So each afternoon I have to put in some time on this project, which is really fun. So I don't know why I delay. But this design is by Brenda Gervais. And there we go. Quaker handwork. So here's where I'm at. Here we go. So this is, what have I done? I have put in, let's see, this flower here, the stem. I did this little, I guess you'd call it a flower. It's like a sunflower kind of thing. Up here, I started on the bird's tail, and I'm bringing that up. And I put in this ABC. I need to put the D in over here. I finished the berry bowl. Yeah, I finished that. So I have put some work into it this week. Yesterday, I actually made really good progress. I got all these letters in, and I finished this little flower here. And I don't know if I actually put in a line on the bird's tail yesterday or not. So as my birthday treat to myself, my husband, yeah, lucky him, he got a treat for my birthday. And I did something I've never done before. I hired a masseuse to come to my home. So yesterday when I finished work, she showed up, and I had an 1.5-hour long massage. It was wonderful. I don't know that I've ever, well, I guess maybe I have done an 1.5 hours in the past, but not very often. And it was here in my home, so I didn't have to drive anywhere. It was great. And then my husband got one afterwards, also an 1.5 hours. And we told the kids that they couldn't come home until later, not to, so there'd be no noise. But my youngest son forgot. He went and picked up his suit for prom, and then he came home, and I was like, shh, your dad is getting his massage, and it just started. He's like, oh, he had forgotten. So that's okay. he was quiet, he went upstairs. So that was a fun treat. So while my husband was getting his massage, I got to stitch. So I sat there quietly and I got to stitch. So that was fun. So I did make pretty good progress during that hour and a half. And then today is May 13th. So I put on my calendar to work on this piece that is for my husband. Let me pull it out here. I haven't worked on this in quite a while. I worked on it last fall. Beggar's Night. And I just love that white pumpkin in the urn, the big raven. And this is for my husband. His birthday is October 31st, so he is a Halloween baby. And this year he will be 50. So this will be for him. And I want to make sure I have it done. So do I remember what this is on? I don't remember. I know I have it written down, but I did not look at my book before I started videoing today. So this morning I worked on this for about an hour after my Prairie School of Santa. Let's see if I can't even hold this very well. But yeah, I put in this, I finished this orange coming down here and then across over here. So that bottom border is a lot of stitching. Not difficult, it's just a lot. So I'll keep making progress on that. I have a few of those pumpkin leaves to put in, and then of course the border all the way around. So a lot of this orange. So I really like this one. It's just fun. So yeah, so here, so this is a pretty heavy stitch count. I'm stitching it 1 strand of floss over 2 on this linen. And I think it's a 32 count linen. Which I do like, yeah, because I considered going with 2 strands of floss, but I like this over 1. Yeah. So I did that this morning. So I worked on it. I'll put some more time in it. I'll work on it. I think I'll list it on the 13th of each month, and then the 31st probably. For this month, that's my plan. I may pull it out. I actually have had the urge to pull it out and work on it, so I did make myself wait until the 13th, but who knows? Maybe this will become my morning stitch because it's not hard to see. But I don't know. Maybe Prairie Schooler Santa? Prairie Schooler is pretty good on the eyes early in the morning. Most of them. We'll see. I'll have to tell you what I decide. Got a couple more weeks. My plan for this weekend, today's Friday, May 13th, right? So 13th. So it's Friday, May 13th. My birthday is on Monday, but I'm going to start as my birthday start, which I've planned this since last fall, is to work on a la-di-da pattern. It's a smaller chart, and it is Love Spoken Here. So this one is going to be my birthday start. I'm going to actually start it early. I'm not going to wait till Monday. I did take Monday off from work. Maybe I'll stitch all day. Who knows? So this is my plan. I have the floss. I went with a DMC. Again, you know, economics. So it's just 4 colors. And I'm stitching this on 36 count Winter's Moon. It's an Edinburgh linen. So let's kind of see how that'll look. maybe, maybe, yeah, maybe not. Yeah, so anyways, that is my plan for this weekend to get this one started. And I've been looking forward to this since last fall when I got the chart and kitted it up. So I did make a plan for the year as to what I was going to start before the beginning of the year, because I was trying to focus on completing more projects rather than starting more projects. But I know I enjoy starting projects, and there's always a new exciting one too. So I'm trying to work a little bit of starts in there. And then, as I said, the end of April, I went and did a little shopping, and I am adding some starts based on my shopping. So let me show you what I got. I think that's everything that I've been working on for the last 2 months. 35 minutes in, so I'll try not to keep you too long. This may be a longer video than I've done in the past. So I have all this floss, this whole bag of floss, and this is for this chart that I have adored, Frederica. Isn't she cute? And this is by Carriage House Samplings. And I went with a DMC. Yeah, I used the DMC conversion. Last week I went to Joann's to get all the floss for the charts that I wanted to start. I think I had 5 that I had picked out from the things that I had purchased. And I had a list of all the floss, and some of the colors are in multiple charts. So I put the bulk of them in here in this bag for Frederica. However, I did start the Mighty Oak, and that has one of the floss, so one had to get moved. So Frederica, and of course, I couldn't just get Frederica, I had to get Frederick. So let me take him out of the plastic here. So this is Frederick. I love him. He's such a quirky bird. Oh, I saw this new Flosstube is a couple of sisters. What is it? The Curious Stitchers, I think is their name. And they are each working on one of these. One has working on Frederick and one is working on Frederica, and they're just beautiful. And I have seen them a couple of different times. They were in my wish list. And so I just went ahead and I finally said, I'm getting them. I don't know when I'm going to start them. I am trying to hold off, and oops, I just dropped them. I set those on the floor. I'm trying to hold off just because I want to be able to finish a couple of other projects first. So maybe if I finish my, the one for my husband. What did I call it? I can't remember. October 31st is what I always call it, but that's not the name of it. Anyways, I just showed it to you. Gosh, brain dead this morning. Maybe if I finish that one, I'll start one of the Frederick or Frederica. And I also bought the fabric. I bought 2 pieces of the fabric. I don't think the called for was in stock, so I got a recommended alternative. This is Zweigart 40 count platinum Newcastle linen. So since I'm getting more comfortable with the 40 count, I think it'll be okay. And I think, yeah, it's just 1 strand of floss, obviously, on 40 count. That will be plenty. So that one, so I purchased those. And of course, I have to add in a Prairie Schooler Santa, just because the charts are not very expensive. So I picked, what year is this one? 2012. It's one of the older ones on the cardstock. And so I got this one to add to my collection, and another piece of the Davos fabric. So that will go in my to be stitched collection of Prairie Schooler Santas. And I already showed you my Winds of Autumn book. Oh, this was the colors that I got for the one I want to do for my niece. Was it the Harvest Moon? The one with the moon. I said I had two. I would blend 2 strands of floss, so I just picked kind of this orange and this yellow to go together. So I think that's what I'll try, and then the black and the green color. So those were for that owl for my niece. And here's my other book I purchased, Home for the Holidays, Blackbird Designs. Again, so many beautiful charts in here that I have been admiring for a long time. Love this one here. This one I think is Christmas Garden. And the one on the back, the Cardinal. Oh, love it. This one was recently completed by Annie, the Proper Stitcher. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. So that's on my to-do list. I did not buy any of the floss or fabric for any of the charts in this book. I picked some out of the autumn one, so I'll hold off on that a little bit. I did show a little bit of restraint there. And the other item that I purchased, this has been on my wish list for quite a long time. I'm so happy I finally purchased it, is the Scarlet House Floral Motif Sampler. So beautiful. And this is pretty large, and this will be a long-term project. So I don't know, maybe I've got a couple of larger projects going, so I don't know. I don't have a plan to when to start this one. This one may just be on a whim. This is only some of the DMC floss to go in here. I went with the DMC conversion that was in the pattern rather than all of the overdyed floss. Again, economics. But I had the fabric. I purchased the fabric quite a while ago. I think I purchased it for something else, but then I decided I would set it aside and keep it for this chart. So this is 40 count mallow. So it's just beautiful, and it feels a little heavier. It's a little stiffer, but not too stiff. So that will be interesting. I think I could stitch in hand very, very easily on this one. I've been trying to do more stitching in hand, so it's just easy, but I don't know, the last couple of weeks I've used a hoop again, so I keep going back and forth. I guess it depends on the daylight and how tired my eyes might be from sitting at the computer and working all day. So Zweigart is a 1/4 yard piece of 40 count mallow linen, and that is for my floral motif sampler. So I am excited about this one. I'm looking forward to that. And again, I don't have a plan as to when to start it, and that may just be on a whim. While I was at the fabric store picking out all the floss for those 5 charts. Oh, I think I got more of the Prairie Schooler. Yeah, I picked 5 charts because I got more of the Prairie Schooler floss since I was getting a little bit low on a couple of the colors. I was in Joann's and I saw this fabric. I loved it, so I had to get a yard of it. It is this Hydrangea and Bees fabric. The bees on there. They're so cute. So this is Susan Wingate. Yeah, there. Susan Wingate fabric. Hydrangea and bees. And so I thought this would be beautiful in a project bag. So that's my plan for that fabric. And then I stopped at a quilting store down the road, and I purchased this fabric for another project bag. So this one, I love it with all these birds. It has a tight repeat on it. You can see it's a pretty tight repeat. This fabric is by Morris and Kelmson, which what the woman told me at the fabric store is that this company designs a lot more wallpaper. And they don't do as much fabric, so that was kind of fun to hear. I'm not familiar with the company, but I loved this. And that will just be a beautiful project bag. So maybe over the weekend, my birthday weekend here, maybe I'll find some time to sit down and sew. So that was my haul, and my cross stitch, what I've been working on the last 2 months. I know I'm at 46 minutes. I do have a little bit of knitting to share with you of what I've been doing here since my last video. So I have a completed project, and I have shown this in the past where I was stuck and it spent some time in timeout, but this sweater is now done. Let's see if I show the whole thing. It's too hot today to wear it, but there's the bottom. The garter stitch has a little bit of shaping around the waist, and then comes up, and the shoulders have this cable, and again a garter stitch neck. It's kind of wide, so I wore it with button-down collar shirt underneath, and then the sleeves have the garter stitch cuffs. So this sweater was in timeout because it's a bottom-up design. It's called the Tucker sweater. And of course I forgot to look at the designer's name, but the sweater is called the Tucker sweater. So you can find it on Ravelry. I do have some pictures of it on Ravelry. My account is Crystal VT. I'm pretty sure it's Crystal VT. And yeah, I finished this in March, and I wore it, I think just about every day. I'd always have some different shirt underneath, and then I wore this. I don't know if I can stand up and show you it all. Push the chair back, sorry for the sound. Yeah, love it. I figured out what my problem was, and when it was in timeout, this sweater is more fitted around the waist, and I didn't want it so fitted, so I made the largest size at the waist because I wanted it loose. And then as I was doing the shaping around the waist, you do these decreases, and then you do these increases again when you get closer to the bust. So when I was doing the increases, or I did the decreases bringing it down to the next size, so not the largest size, but the next size below that. And then I did the increases back up to that size. So it was like not the largest, but the one right below that. And then I did my arms, then you stitch your arms. So I did both arms, and then I attached the arms, and my total stitch count wasn't correct. And I couldn't figure out why. So my arms were actually the middle size. So there was 5 sizes. So I had the 4th size and the 3rd size. So my arms were the 3rd size, the chest was the 4th size. And so then I had it stitched together. My stitch count wasn't correct, but I needed it to be correct to be able to get the cables, and I couldn't figure it out. I kept doing the math over and over and over. Well, I forgot that they were different sizes. I didn't take good notes, apparently. Actually, I don't think I took any notes, come to think about it. So once I came to that realization, that was easy enough to fix. I just had to do a couple more decreases on just here after the arms were attached. And then I went and did the chest, the upper shoulders here, in the 3rd size, the same as the arms. But that way the bust and the waist of the sweater were larger and roomier than what the model showed and the call for was showed. So you know, my own adjustments, I had forgotten what I did, finally figured it out, and now I have this great sweater. I knit this in fisherman's wool that I had got from Joann's. I wasn't sure, so it's 100% wool. I wasn't sure how it would wear, if it was gonna pill a lot, but so far, I mean, I had like 2 months that I was wearing this almost every day. I have not washed and blocked it yet. I will probably do that here as it's warm enough. I could probably do it this weekend. I don't know if I will. And it's a little bit pilly. You know, you're starting to see some little fuzzies building up on the arms, but not too bad. So I was pleased with that. For the price of the yarn, I think I had 3 skeins. I had 18 ounces of total in the sweater. Oh, sorry for the noise. The wind is blowing the doors upstairs. And so 18 ounces in here. Oh, Gus is bumping the camera. Sorry about that. So just under 3 of those 8-ounce skeins. So $35, $36, something like that. I think I bought the yarn on sale, so love this sweater. I would make it again in another color. I did buy a dark chocolate brown of the same yarn, so we'll see. Oh, my cheeks are rosy. It's getting warm in here. So that was one thing, and then I have started another sweater. This is actually for my husband. It's not very big. This one will be, again, a long-term project. This is in pieces. So you do front, back, and then have to stitch them, you know, seam them together. So this is the back waistband, working up the body. It's just stockinette. He picked the sweater pattern out. I'm stitching this with a local yarn. It's organic border Leicester Romney, and it is all from, every skein is from a sheep named Jerry. It's here in Vermont, so it's a Blue Heron Farm wool, and it was spun by the Green Mountain Spinnery. Yeah, so I bought these. I bought it last year during Yarn Haul, so in July of last year, and I just started the sweater, and this is from the Rowan Journeyman pattern book. Let's see if I can find the picture. Yeah, it's a really simple raglan style sweater. You know, ribbed cuffs and ribbed neckline, raglan. It's stitched the front, the back, the sleeves, and then it's seamed together. So it's a little different technique. I have not done a raglan style in pieces like that. I did a class earlier this winter at our local yarn shop that was a top-down raglan. That was my first time with that. So I have the body done on that. I didn't bring it to share with you. I have to get the sleeves stitched on, and I'll share it. It's almost done. that should be pretty quick once I sit down to do it. Yeah, so that was, oh no, I did have one other knitting thing, and this is a mitten pattern by Yolanda Teague, and here's where I'm at. So it has this snowflake cuff, and then all of these little motifs. So I'm almost up on the thumb. It's a nice thick cuff, fold it over. I love this technique. I have mittens that are green. They're kind of a green color, the same that I made the same design. And so I'm just doing these in blue. So that's where I'm at. Need to spend some time on these, but we'll see when I get them done. I'll share them again. And I'm keeping these, they're on double points. Keeping these in this little bag my husband gave me last year. It's from the Johnson Woolen Mill. It was like a little purse, and it had, you know, these sides were stitched tight, so it was really hard to get into, but I wanted it for my knitting, small knitting projects, so I took the little stitches out to open it up so I had more room to keep my knitting in here. So I like that one. It is almost an hour. It's amazing. I'm gonna leave it at that, and I hope everybody's enjoyed what you've seen, and maybe it's inspired you to start a new project. And yeah, I hope everybody is doing well. So take care. I'll see you next time. Bye.